Yo, welcome back. This is Paul 2600. Welcome back to the channel. I've got a few bits for you today about Reaper. I will show you what I've been working on. I've done a whole ton of configuration changes to my Reaper build and built out a load of breaks, bass, that sort of stuff. I'll show you a few little tricks about what I'm doing on my master channel, about swing, and even colors for channels as well. So yeah, let's jump into it. Alright, so this is what my Reaper looks like at the moment. This is just the empty kind of default project, a few empty channels, and some more buttons you can see up here as well. I'll talk you through a few basic bits first. So first of all, on the master channel, I'll just move my head out of the way. So you've got the master channel has moved over to the right, and on the master I have the following. So for every project I've got a Pro Q4 just sat there, and this has got a mid-side configuration, and on the sides I'm just rolling off the bass at 100 Hertz, just as a starting point. On the middle, I've got a tiny little bump at 45 Hertz, just at F sharp, just a cheeky bump at F sharp there, because I'm generally writing around that note anyway. But the bass is rolled off for the sides just to keep it nice and clean. I do have a Pro L2 on the master as well. That's doing nothing at the moment, but if I want to kind of give it a boost, I can at any time. And I have span on here as well, and what I've been doing with span is actually been using it in so I think it's mid-side stereo mode, so you can actually view the mid content and the stereo content as well, which is quite useful, and we'll come back to that in a minute. On Reaper itself, so there's a few changes here. So this button I've added, which is the track manager, so that's quite useful. So you can add things to the toolbar just by clicking right and doing customize toolbar, and then clicking the add button to add something to your toolbar. And the track manager is pretty wicked. So if you click on that, what you get to do is you'll see that it gives you this list of tracks, and on what would be called the arrange page, say in Ableton, you've got all of your channels in view, and you've also got them in view on the mixer as well. But I don't necessarily need to have a reverb channel displayed horizontally, so I can actually change that. I can actually turn that off on that part, but keep it visible here. And also you could say that if you've got a MIDI channel being displayed horizontally across the arrangement, you don't necessarily need to have it displayed vertically down here in the mixer, because you don't necessarily need to mix a MIDI part. You're only going to be mixing audio down here in the mixer, so you can actually turn off things there as well, which is quite wicked just by clicking these buttons. So yeah, the track manager, that's become an essential thing for me, which is quite good. The next thing I've added is swing, and I found that within Reaper there is like a groove section within. I come from Ableton originally, so a lot of this stuff is I'm trying to emulate what I was doing in Ableton before, and Ableton Live had a great swing and groove section, and I've actually found that Reaper has the exact same groove tools, the exact same swing detail that they've captured from all these different drum machines and stuff. So I've put a button on the toolbar just for groove, and I can demonstrate that working for you. So let's build a drum machine. So I'm going to insert a track from a template. I've got an empty drum rack here that I will bring in and open that up. So it's just a bunch of empty samplers, and if I find some samples to put into that, let's see, so let's go to samples from Mars. Let's do an 808 perhaps. What we'll do is we'll find a kit, and I'll bring in some sounds that we can use to demonstrate swing. So I'll do a kick there, and it's really the hi-hats that you want to demonstrate this with. Do a clap. Rim shot will be quite good as well. So let's just turn my MIDI keyboard on. So I've now got an 808 kit rather. So let's put some MIDI in. So I'm going to make a little short loop for that. And I'm going to show you some bits that I've changed on the piano roll as well in a minute as well, but let's do this bit first. So I'm going to make a simple beat. Maybe turn the BPM down, put looping on. We've got a nice 808 kick going. Put a clap on the 2 and the 4. And that's obviously very regimented. So now let's get some hi-hats in, because that is what we will use to demonstrate the swing. So I'll just tap those in. I'll do an open hat as well. So we've got a simple beat going, and it's just very on time, very straightforward, on time, nothing unusual about that. So let's get some swing going. So if I click on my swing button, so now I can use all of the swing options that exist within, that existed within Ableton. All the Logic ones are here, all the MPC swing settings are here, and it's even got options for the ASR 10 and the SP 1200, which is amazing. So I'm going to select all of my notes here, and I'm going to try some of the MPC swing first. So we want it on 16ths, and selected notes, and I'm going to apply the groove. And you can see that the notes have moved a little bit. They've gone like delayed in some places. And listen to that, it's come alive with swing. It's kind of got that garage feel to it. So there's real kind of, all I can say is like it gives it life. Like like, I don't know, a straight beat just has that very regimented, straight on kind of sensation, but when you add, one sec, adding swing just gives it that extra bit of life that you didn't have before. So that's really cool. So so yeah, that's swing. And if you want to undo the swing pattern that you just added, you just do Control Z to change it back, and then you can try different swing settings. So let's try some of the Logic 16th swings. So if I apply groove, so more of the same. Let's try B. So that's a little bit more light touch, not as swung. Okay, so yeah, that's the swing tool, again added to the toolbar there. So that's an SWS feature, show groove tool. To add that, you just do customize toolbar, add, then you get this list, and if you look for groove, say, you've got I think it's show groove tool, that's it there. So that's what you're looking for. All right, so the other thing I've got, well, before I get to the colors, let me show you some stuff I've done within the piano roll. So one of the great things about Ableton and what I've emulated here is actually some of the piano roll settings. So yeah, so essentially when you first get Reaper, when you roll the mouse, it actually zooms in, but that's no good. So I've changed it so when you roll up and down, it scrolls up and down, which is exactly what Ableton did. I've also configured a key so that when you do shift and then up and down, it moves up and down in octaves. And then also just the cursor keys will give you an up and down of the note itself just by semitone. Okay, and the way that is done is if you click shift and question mark, you get all of the controls for the MIDI editor, and that's displayed up here. And if I click shortcut, it should show me every shortcut that's been configured. So if I look for the things that I've set up, so shift and up here, so move notes up 1 octave, and then shift and down, move notes down 1 octave. So what I might like to do is have a key for moving notes left and right. So if I arrange it by description, I type in the word move, so that is actually configured already. So we've got control and left. Yeah, so holding down control moves it left and right, and then you've effectively got yourself a step sequencer. So let's try some rim shots, shall we? And let's Control A to select all of that, and let's stick some groove on it. So let's try that Logic 16C to selected notes on 16ths, apply groove. So that's grooving away. Yep, so that's how you make garage. So yeah, all right, so I've got all of these icons as well. So I actually made those icons, and what they are for. So when I'm adding tracks, they were coming out grey, and I thought, well, it's time to get some colors on the go. And what I found was you can actually add in a function which is called set track to custom color, and I configured all of the custom colors, and then I made the icons and then added them to the toolbar, so they are like the following colors. So I can now click that and make it baby pink, for example, or purple, whatever. So the way you do that, again, it's customize toolbar, and you're looking for these functions. So again, this is an SWS function. So if you do add and then look for color, spelt in the American way, and you're looking for set selected track to custom color, and they are here. And then you might say, well, how did you make the icons as well? So the way that's done, if I can remember, is show Reaper resource path, and it shows you where the icons are held. And if I can remember, yeah, they're here. So you're looking for Reaper data toolbar icons, and then what you need to do is copy an icon. So they're all here. So if I was to copy that one, for example, and then just paste it back in, and rename it, so new icon pool, then if you open it in Paint, it's interesting. Open with Paint. Okay, no, it's not liking that. There you go. So I've duplicated one of the existing icons, I've given it a new name, I've opened it in Paint. They are very small, so when you zoom in, you're working at a very low res, and you can see there's like a kind of green box around the three things in a lot of them. So what I've done is I've worked inside that green box to give me like a line of where things should be. But if I wanted to make a new icon, say, all I would do is try to, well, first of all, let me give myself a white background perhaps. If I was to, I mean, you're literally drawing in you're drawing in pixels here, so it's, yeah, that's fine. essentially you give yourself a little canvas. Like that. All right. Then draw your icon. So we're going to draw a little smiley face. It is a bit of a janky smiley face, so no matter. But okay. And having trouble with my space desk. Hold on, bear with. Anyway, so yeah, and then once you've made your icon, you copy it over 2 more times, and then you've got 3 copies of that 3 times, and then saved it. And then that icon is now accessible for the toolbar. So if I now, let's say I want to change that icon here, if I click on that and choose edit, set icon, so that icon is now available from my selection here. If I apply that, now that's on my toolbar. So I can now go to swing, click on that, and it gives me some rave energy. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, there's probably better icon tutorials on YouTube about how that's done. So yeah, just a very quick update. So all right, so what else is there? So I'm going to delete a few of these tracks. I've been building templates, so I've now got all of these templates set up. I've actually got whole tracks set as a template, like a skeleton track. So I've got like shakers, for example, and it's the entire track, a whole 256 bar tune set just as shakers. Ready for me to lay stuff on top of. I think that's at 174 actually, or 172. Yeah. So I've got a whole skeleton track that I can build stuff on top of. Then I've got breaks, a few amens here. So these are all just set up as drum machines ready to be played. I've got what else? I've got drones. Let's see what this one sounds like. So this is actually running Omnisphere. So that's quite low. Essentially what we've got here is Omnisphere making sound, and then I've got Pro Q4 doing different kind of frequency range changes. note for that. And then the intention for this drone is that you actually automate the frequencies. So you've got different things coming in and out, the mids for example. So if let's see, if I automate the frequency of both of these, so if I click on that, do parameter, show in track envelope, and then this one, now see the envelope for both of those frequency changes. I'll actually start to put points in just randomly, so these can be moving up and down. So all I need to do is like drag these now. And what we should find is the EQ changes. So if I look at Pro Q4 now on the mids, that's moving, like so. And it is just a very low background drone, of course, but it's just a bit of atmosphere. Okay, and that's in a folder, so I can actually minimize that completely out of the way. If I go back to my Amen, maybe I want to get a little loop in for that as well. So let's try that. Get the right MIDI channel on. So if I stick an Amen pattern in, hold on. Yeah, all done. Got to get this programming right. So you can see the process I'm going through. I'm kind of building things that I can use, and then like just having them in stock basically. So there's lots of like templates, lots of breaks saved off, like sounds, patches, that sort of stuff, and then I can call them back in and actually start to make like tunes essentially from scratch with the things that I've made. And also that gives you a way of like, if you're just sitting down one day like noodling around, like perhaps you start to make a tune but like you can't decide on what to do, so you've made a bass line perhaps, but you're not going to do anything with the track, so just save it as a template and then you can actually recall it anytime you want to use in any other track. So that's my method of working anyway. So yeah, so what else have we got? Let's expand that out a bit. get another break in just for the hell of it. I love the Apache break. And we're effectively making a tune here. It was just going to be an update, but you know what, sod it. So you know the Apache. Again, this is all just pre-configured. Set up on a key ready for me to use. So I'll try and get this in line with the aim and break. You can actually use this button on the right hand side to view another thing that you've put in. So if I no, not that. So if I, how do I do it? I click the, yeah, that's it. So there's a little eyeball icon. If I click on that, I can actually see where I've programmed notes in for the aim and break. So if I match that with this break, it's a lot quieter. Let's bring it up a bit. Yeah, let's just duplicate that across. Yeah, so you get the idea. And in terms of synth patches, I've also been making so a lot of where are we now? So what was I calling it? Yeah, mid-range. So yeah, so I've been making quite a lot of pretty dirty bass sounds. So I'll show you how that's been done. So I'm using Serum for all of this stuff, and that is called Dirty Reese. Looks like there's an update available for Serum, but let's not worry about that. Use Serum 2 for this one. It's got camel fat on it as well. So yeah, you get the idea. Now this bass is quite fun. So I actually made the dread bass. Now this sound you could make yourself. So dread bass was actually made from the Future Music CD1, and you can get that still now from archive.org. And that is literally just well, you can see there's track 16 on the FM1 CD, and if I play that at the right note, that should be instantly recognizable. It's literally just a synth patch reversed, and on top of that, looks like I've put a compressor. And a camel fat as well, just for a bit of excitement by the looks of it. So if we add that back into our tune, yeah, so you get the idea. So that's how I've been going for the last few months, just making loads of stuff, loads of bits, and I'm really trying to focus on breaks primarily. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, hopefully should have some proper stuff together soon. Now that I've got all the groundwork laid out. So yeah, that's it for now. So yeah, thank you very much, and I will see you around.